Mario Kart. A beloved classic that one-ups itself every single generation of... Wait, that's not Mario. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm still broke. And I've caught a major case of FOMO watching everyone online enjoy the wonders of the brand new Mario Kart world. With expansive landscapes to explore, missions to accomplish, and brand new game modes like Knockout Tour, that game looks like a blast. But since your boy has yet to get his hands on a Switch 2, I'm revisiting one of the main video games that built my childhood. A game that I immediately thought of when learning about MK World. Cars for the Nintendo Gamecube. I'll be honest, movie video games are generally not my favorite. Simple retellings of stories aren't typically my choice of media. However, way back in 2006, movie video games weren't so generalized. Toy Story for the PlayStation, this random Monsters Inc. dodgeball game that I had. Heck, even the pre-sequel LEGO Star Wars games. Back then, these games had their own story to tell, and Cars is no different. While I'll be the first to admit that the original story for this game is nothing spectacular, as a 7-year-old kid, this game expanded one of my favorite franchises in a way nothing else could. You get thrown right into the action at the Radiator Springs Grand Prix. This is a simple race that introduces the general driving controls. It's a fairly normal arcade-style racer, utilizing the fun landscape of Carburetor County. But once this race is over, the true magic begins. I can't tell you how cool my younger self thought it was when I first realized I was driving around Radiator Springs freely. Seeing all of our favorite residents driving around and talking to you as you sped by, playing as the iconic speedster himself, Lightning McQueen. I'll talk more on the free roam in this game in a bit, but I thought that initial impression was just too important to skip. As you move through the story, we're introduced to a few new characters, none of which are particularly important, and after completing a few required races, it's finally time for the big show, our first Piston Cup race of the season. Ironically, these races are the ones in the game that feel the most like Mario Kart, even though they take place on the tamest tracks we race on. There's true chaos going on the whole time, with the constant lap traffic getting in your way and a flurry of cup drivers who can actually keep the race pretty close compared to the multi-dozen second gaps in most of the normal races. Remember that rumor that the new Mario Kart was adding pit stops? Well, that didn't happen, but there are pit stops in these Piston Cup races. It's a series of button-pressing minigames that ultimately replaces your tires, and depending on how fast you complete them, you'll either gain or lose time on the competitors around you. There's a total of 5 Piston Cup races in the story mode, and they're honestly some of my favorites in the entire game. I mean, just look at the mayhem that ensues at Sun Valley Speedway. For some reason, the AIs are significantly better at this track than any other, creating a very chaotic event every time you go there. Back in Radiator Springs, there's a lot of racing to be done, but I'd like to touch on the mini-games. There's a ton of them to go around, and overall, they're pretty darn good. The first minigame you unlock is an iconic scene from the movie, tractor tipping. In this mode, you play as Mater and have a certain number of tractors to tip within a given time limit. Frank is roaming the area, and in later levels, there are spotlights to avoid as well. Get hit with the light, and you're done. It's also worth noting that the devs took technological swings during some of these games. In tractor tipping, you control Mater with the joystick rather than using a gas or brake button, and the camera is centered on Mater, but it follows wherever Frank is lurking. Now, this game is alright, it's definitely not my favorite one, but man, my dad loved this game when I was younger, and he never played any video games. I don't know what kind of insight that's supposed to give you, but the next major minigame is Luigi to the Rescue, which I distinctly remember playing only because you can't drive as Luigi in any other game mode. I mean, come on. We need another year of Luigi. But in this game mode, there's sets of tires scattered throughout the map that you must retrieve and return to Luigi's Casadella tires. It's nothing super novel, but a nice break. Also, I can't be the only one who sees the coincidence here of Luigi's Casadella tires and Luigi's tires in Mario Kart World. Sarge's Boot Camp is the first required minigame. It's a set of 3 maps that introduce you to the jumping function. Each boot camp layout gets tougher, and in order to advance, you need to beat them in the allotted time. I recall these being extremely difficult as a kid, but I did manage to finish them off on the first try pretty easily this time around. These are really fun to revisit because it's a completely different vibe from basically the entire rest of the game. It's pretty much Cars Parkour Edition. Mater's backward lesson is pretty self-explanatory. You drive backwards at a slow speed while following Mater, easily the worst on this list. Sheriff's Hot Pursuit has you running down lawless citizens who are speeding around the town. Get close enough for long enough, and they're caught. Another simple but pretty refreshing game mode as it happens fully at night all the time. And finally, we reach our last two required minigames, and they're very closely tied with each other. This is actually a story-driven sequence. Chick Hicks, in his desperation to win the Piston Cup, hires the delinquent Road Hazards to steal Lightning's equipment for the final race of the season. This kicks off the high-speed heist. You get to play as DJ, Boost, and Wingo, all accomplishing different tasks in order to steal said equipment. It's a nice sequence, and each little section is different. It's just a bit sad we don't get to play as Snotrod. After the news of his equipment being stolen, Lightning proceeds to go after the delinquents himself in Lightning Strikes Back. You go rushing through traffic, forcing the hazards to drop the equipment by tapping them 3 times each. This is not as exciting, but the environment of driving against oncoming traffic is always a treat. Overall, I've already said it. These minigames are a nice change of pace and fun in their own right, and have a good amount of content to go through. Think of these as the P-Switch challenges in Mario Kart World. They're always throwing something new at you. But there's one game that stands above the rest.
Hey Lizzie, what you got there? Oh, postcards. Old ones too.
I've been collecting these for a long time, from all the way down Route 66.
Wow. Oh, look at that one.
Some of these go back 60. It's a blizzard!
Don't worry, Lizzie, I'll find them. They can't have gone too far.
Lizzie's postcard hunt I struggled to place in either the minigame section or the free roam section, so I put it smack dab in the middle of the two. Basically, right as you set foot, or tire, in Radiator Springs, you're greeted with a minigame icon in front of Lizzie's Curio Shop. After a janky cutscene, vintage postcards go flying throughout the entire map, and you're tasked with finding all 20. Akin to the Peach Medallions in World, these postcards are littered across the entire map, and in order to collect them all, you'll need to basically complete the game beforehand. Utilizing boosts, jumps, and both of the unlockable sections of the map, these postcards are no joke. As a kid, I never was able to find all 20, but in doing so, you unlock a nice cutscene to wrap it all up.
You see? I told you I'd find them all. Yep, they're all there. You would not believe how far some of them got. Almost all the way down Route 66.
Who are you?
Lightning McQueen? I found your postcards.
Oh, there they are. I've been looking everywhere for them.
While you search for all the postcards, you discover the real star of this game, the open map. I briefly mentioned this before, but there's no words to describe how amazed my kid self was when I could just power up the GameCube and explore Radiator Springs. Enticing you to explore every nook and cranny of the map are the bonus points littered throughout. They give off a hilarious sped up ka-chow sound when collected and are available in 3 different rarities. Commons are the base red and yellow, and they give you 50 points, the white lightning bolts give you 500, and goldens give you 2,000 points. And points are used to buy unlockables such as characters, paint schemes, tracks, and concept art. There was nothing like the rush of finding a golden for the first time. I'd always go home from school, turn on the GameCube right away, and I was so eager to explore more of this map. Radiator Springs, Ornament Valley, Tailfin Pass, all of them. And when our GameCube eventually broke, we got it for our PS2. Even though I'd beaten it several times at this point, I just had to play more Cars. Hopefully I'm doing a good job of explaining how much this little disc meant to me back then. Just a few quick notes on other things I love about this game. It's not perfect and it's easy to see that, but it's also clear how much the devs put into it. I can feel the passion through this screen, and it translated into how I played back in the day. I also adore the loading screen art for every race and minigame. Also, the soundtrack is a complete banger, and you've been hearing some of them in the background the whole time. I can't believe some of the songs that are in this game. And I also think it's amazing that the entire voice cast reprises their roles. You almost never see names like Owen Wilson and Michael Keaton in small video games like this, but it's a main reason why it truly feels like you're driving around the Cars universe, and that immersion plays a huge part. Nowadays, this type of exploration is fairly common. Open world games are everywhere, but this one is different to me. Sure, it's not the first of its kind, and it's certainly not the best of the genre either, but this game is special. Cars is the very first video game I have memories of playing. I was, and honestly still am, not someone who plays video games a ton, but something about exploring an open world combined with another love of mine, racing, struck an absolute perfect chord with me. A blend of passions, creativity, and curiosity. That same combination is what's led me to make all of my other content. I'm always pushing myself to make new discoveries and present them to the world, and I think this silly little game from 2006 is a big reason why. So if you enjoy any of my content, I think you've got Cars to thank. Fingers crossed that Mario Kart World can provide that same spark nearly 20 years later. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about a very nostalgic and important game to me, Cars for the Nintendo Gamecube. Let me know if you want to hear about some more games that I played as a kid. I honestly really want to make a video on this Monsters Inc. Dodgeball game, so let me know if you want to see that down in the comments. But for now, this is Hershey, signing off. Thanks for watching.